The rain drumming against the funeral home's windows seemed fitting for the day we buried Grandma Eleanor. I stood at the entrance, smoothing down my simple black dress, a clearance rack find from 3 years ago that had seen better days. But it was clean, respectful, and the best I could manage. Absolutely not. My cousin Marcus blocked the doorway, his Tom Ford suit gleaming even in the dim light. "This is a private family gathering, Sophia." "I am family," I said quietly, clutching the small bouquet of wildflowers I'd picked from Grandma's favorite meadow. The same meadow where she'd taught me about business, life, and the importance of keeping certain secrets. "Family?" Victoria, Marcus's sister, materialized beside him in a cloud of Chanel No. 5. "Family doesn't show up to Eleanor Whitmore's funeral looking like they raided a thrift store. Do you have any idea who's in there? The governors, the Ashfords, half the country club board." I tried to step past them. "I'm not here for them. I'm here for Grandma." "Security," Marcus called out, his voice carrying into the elegant foyer where my extended family mingled with champagne flutes. At a funeral. "We need assistance at the entrance." 2 security guards approached, looking uncomfortable. I recognized one of them, Daniel, who'd worked estate security for years. "Remove this embarrassment," Marcus sneered, gesturing at me like I was trash to be disposed of. "She's disrupting the service." Daniel shifted awkwardly. "Mr. Whitmore, she's leaving," Victoria interrupted, examining her manicured nails. "Honestly, Sophia, did you really think you could just walk in here? After you refused Daddy's job offer? After you chose to waste your life on that ridiculous charity work?" The charity work. If only they knew that my ridiculous nonprofit had grown into an international foundation, managing over $2 billion in assets. But Grandma had taught me well. True wealth whispers, Sophia. Let the fools shout. "Please," I said, my voice steady despite the burning in my chest. "Just let me say goodbye to her." Marcus laughed, the sound sharp and cruel. "You had 30 years to say goodbye. Where were you last Christmas?" "Oh right, building wells in Africa or some such nonsense while we were here, taking care of family business." Taking care of family business. I bit back a bitter laugh. They meant spending Grandma's money, pressuring her to sign papers, trying to convince her she was too old to manage her affairs. They had no idea I'd been flying back monthly, meeting with her between my humanitarian trips, helping her restructure everything while they played their society games. "Daniel," Victoria commanded, "escort my cousin out." "Now." Daniel looked at me apologetically and stepped forward. "Miss Sophia, I'm sorry, but—" "It's okay," I interrupted, taking a step back. "I understand." "Smart girl." Marcus smoothed his platinum cufflinks. "Run along to your little apartment. I'm sure there's a food bank somewhere that needs volunteers." I turned to leave, rain immediately soaking through my thin coat. Behind me, I heard Victoria's voice carrying through the door. "Can you imagine? Showing up here like that? Grandma would be mortified." The funeral proceeded without me. I sat in my 10-year-old Honda across the street, watching through the rain-blurred windows as my family celebrated Grandma's life with champagne and canapés. The wildflowers wilted on my dashboard. 3 hours later, after the crowd had thinned and the rain had stopped, I finally made my way to the graveside. The earth was fresh, the flowers overwhelming in their grandeur. I knelt in the mud, not caring about my dress, and placed my simple bouquet among the elaborate arrangements. "I kept my promise, Grandma," I whispered. "They never knew. Just like you wanted. Miss Whitmore?" I turned to find Harold Pemberton, Grandma's lawyer, standing behind me with an umbrella. "Mr. Pemberton." I stood, wiping my muddy hands on my already ruined dress. "I didn't see you at the service." "I wasn't at the service," he said carefully. "I was preparing for the will reading. Your grandmother left very specific instructions." He checked his watch. "Which begins in 15 minutes. The family is already gathering at the house." "I don't think I'm welcome." "Miss Whitmore," he interrupted gently, "your grandmother's will supersede any current family dynamics. You need to be there." I looked down at my mud-stained dress, my wet shoes. "Like this?" A small smile crossed his normally stern face. "Your grandmother predicted this exact scenario," she said, and I quote, "Sophia will probably come straight from the graveside, covered in mud and love, while the others come from the bar, covered in perfume and greed." Despite everything, I smiled. That sounded exactly like Grandma. The Whitmore estate sprawled across 40 acres of prime real estate, its circular driveway filled with luxury cars. I parked my Honda between a Bentley and a Ferrari, ignoring the looks from the valet. Inside, the family had gathered in the great room. Conversation stopped as I entered, mud still caked on my shoes. "You've got to be kidding me," Victoria stage whispered. "Security. That won't be necessary," Mr. Pemberton said firmly, guiding me to a chair at the front of the room. "Miss Sophia Whitmore is required to be here." "Required?" Marcus scoffed. "For what?" "Grandma probably left her $1,000 and some costume jewelry." "If we could begin." Mr. Pemberton opened his briefcase, pulling out a thick folder. "This is the last will and testament of Eleanor Marie Whitmore, executed 6 months ago in the presence of 3 witnesses." 6 months ago? Uncle Richard frowned. "But she updated her will last year." "She updated it again," Mr. Pemberton continued, "with significant changes." I sat quietly, hands folded in my lap, as he began reading the smaller bequests. Various cousins received specific amounts, generous, but nothing shocking. The tension in the room grew as we approached the major assets. "To my grandson Marcus Whitmore," Mr. Pemberton read, "who believes appearance is everything, I leave my collection of vintage mirrors. May he finally see himself clearly." Marcus's face flushed. "What about the portfolio? The properties?" "To my granddaughter Victoria Whitmore, who values society's opinion above family loyalty, I leave my membership to the country club. May she find the acceptance she craves." "This is ridiculous." Victoria stood. "Where's the real inheritance?" Mr. Pemberton adjusted his glasses. "Which brings us to the primary beneficiary." He looked directly at me. "To my granddaughter Sophia Marie Whitmore, who chose purpose over profit, love over luxury, and service over selfishness, I leave the remainder of my estate." The room erupted. "That's impossible. She can't. We'll contest this." Mr. Pemberton raised his hand for silence. "The remainder includes all properties, all business holdings, all investment portfolios, and all subsidiaries. This includes Whitmore Industries, the Whitmore Foundation, and—" He paused, looking at Marcus and Victoria. "Whitmore Security Services." "Whitmore Security?" Daniel, the security guard from the funeral home, had been standing by the door. His eyes widened in understanding. "The security company that provides services to the funeral home, the country club, this estate, and approximately 300 other clients throughout the state," Mr. Pemberton confirmed. "Miss Sophia Whitmore is now your employer." The champagne glass in Victoria's hand slipped, shattering on the marble floor. "Furthermore," Mr. Pemberton continued, "Mrs. Whitmore included a video message to be played at this time." The large screen on the wall flickered to life, and Grandma appeared, looking directly at the camera with those sharp blue eyes that missed nothing. "My dear family," her recorded voice filled the room. "If you're watching this, then you've just learned about my decision. I imagine some of you are quite shocked." Marcus sank into a chair, his face pale. "For years, I watched how you treated each other. How you measured worth in dollars and status. How you cast aside the one person who embodied everything I built this family on: hard work, humility, and heart." The camera angle shifted slightly, as if Grandma was looking directly at me. "Sophia, my darling girl, while the others spent their time at galas and country clubs, you spent yours building hospitals in Haiti. While they flaunted their wealth, you lived simply and gave generously. While they demanded their inheritance, you never asked for a penny." I felt tears sliding down my cheeks, not caring who saw. "What the family doesn't know," Grandma continued, "is that Sophia has been helping me run our charitable foundation for the past 5 years. Her ridiculous charity work has grown our foundation's assets from $50 million to over $2 billion. She's proven herself not just as a humanitarian, but as a brilliant businesswoman who understands that true wealth lies in what we give, not what we take." Uncle Richard stood abruptly. "This is fraud. She manipulated Mother." "Sit down, Richard," Grandma's voice commanded from the screen, as if she'd anticipated his reaction. "Sophia never knew she was in the will. I forbade her from telling anyone about her work with the foundation. I wanted to see who you all really were when you thought she had nothing." The video continued for another 10 minutes, outlining Grandma's vision for the family companies under my leadership, her disappointment in those who'd valued money over family, and her hope that this would serve as a lesson. When it ended, the room was silent except for the sound of rain against the windows. "This won't stand," Marcus finally said, his voice shaking. "We'll fight this." "You're welcome to try," Mr. Pemberton said mildly. "However, you should know that Mrs. Whitmore anticipated this. Any family member who contests the will forfeits their bequest entirely. The mirrors and country club membership included." Victoria grabbed her purse. This is insane. Sophia, you can't possibly run Grandma's empire. You don't know the first thing about business? I stood, finally finding my voice. I've been running a $2 billion foundation for 5 years. I've negotiated with governments, managed international investments, and built sustainable business models in developing nations. But you're right about one thing. I don't know the first thing about wasting money on champagne at funerals. The security services, Marcus said suddenly, his face pale. My apartment building uses Whitmore security. My office uses Whitmore security, I confirmed. As does Victoria's gallery, Uncle Richard's firm, and pretty much every business and residential property you all own. Grandma made sure of that years ago. The implications hit them all at once. I controlled the security for their homes, their businesses, their entire lives. You wouldn't dare, Victoria started. Wouldn't I? I met her gaze steadily. You had security escort me out of our grandmother's funeral because of my clothes. You've spent years telling me I wasn't good enough, successful enough, wealthy enough to be a real Whitmore. I walked to the window, looking out at the estate grounds where Grandma and I had spent countless hours planning this moment. But Grandma taught me something you all forgot. Wealth isn't about what you have, it's about what you do with it. And I have very specific plans for the Whitmore empire. Such as, Uncle Richard demanded, expanding the foundation's reach, converting half of our real estate holdings into affordable housing, restructuring the security company to provide free services to domestic violence shelters. And yes, I looked at Marcus, reviewing all our contracts to ensure they align with our new values. You'll destroy everything, Marcus shouted. No, I said quietly. I'll transform it into what Grandma always envisioned, a legacy of service, not selfishness. Daniel stepped forward. Miss Whitmore, if I may, the staff at Whitmore Security has been hoping for changes like this for years. We're behind you. Similar murmurs of support came from other household staff around the room. The people my family had ignored and overlooked were suddenly visible, and they were on my side. This isn't over, Victoria hissed, grabbing her designer bag. You're right, I agreed. It's just beginning. Oh, and Victoria? That country club membership Grandma left you? I own the country club now. The board reports to me. So the next time you want to exclude someone for not meeting your standards, remember who sets those standards now. One by one, my relatives filed out, their designer shoes clicking against marble, their luxury cars roaring to life in the driveway. Soon, only Mr. Pemberton, the staff, and I remained. Your grandmother would be proud, Mr. Pemberton said softly. I looked down at my mud-stained dress, the one they'd mocked and dismissed. She always said the best-dressed person in the room is the one wearing integrity. Indeed, there's one more thing. He handed me a personal letter. She asked me to give you this privately. I opened it with trembling hands. My dear Sophia, asterisk if you're reading this, then the hawks have discovered that the sparrow was actually an eagle. Don't be gentle with them, they weren't with you. But don't be cruel either. Success is the best revenge, and service is the best success. Asterisk. Asterisk build something beautiful with what I've left you. Show them that true wealth whispers while poverty shouts. Asterisk. Asterisk all my love. Grandma Eleanor asterisk. Asterisk P.S. That cheap suit you're probably wearing? I bet it looks perfect on you. Real class doesn't need a label. Asterisk. I smiled through my tears, carefully folding the letter. Outside, the last of the luxury cars disappeared down the drive, leaving only my muddy Honda in the circular driveway. Miss Whitmore? Daniel approached hesitantly. What would you like security to do about future family gatherings? I thought for a moment, then smiled. Everyone is welcome at Whitmore events, Daniel. Even relatives in Tom Ford suits who serve champagne at funerals. But maybe, I added, thinking of Grandma's wicked sense of humor, we should implement a new dress code. Something that values character over couture. Yes, ma'am. And Miss Whitmore? For what it's worth, we all knew who really took care of Mrs. Eleanor. The real family isn't always the one that shares your blood. As the staff dispersed to their duties, I walked back through the house, my muddy shoes leaving prints on the pristine marble. Each step felt like a declaration. I was here, I belonged, and I was going to honor Grandma's legacy in ways my relatives never could have imagined. The Whitmore empire was mine now. And unlike my cousins, I knew exactly what to do with it.